I'm Armani Jones, comedian, entrepreneur, philanthropist, polygamist, platypus, but I don't got too many bills. Right on time, but never on time. I'm smooth as ice, twice as nice. Never had a bad day my whole goddamn life. Your father's uncle. Shout out to my nigga Old Solo. And R. Kelly cuz, rapper, actor, sometimes pimp, and good father.
All right, so I want to start with, just tell people where you from.
My mama pussy. Yeah, when I came out, we was in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Grand Rapids is where I was born and raised. Fisk and Underwood, if anybody want to know. 1239, Fisk and Underwood. Just Michigan my whole life, man, you know. As you can hear, the ambulance is right behind us and shit. I'll let you know that when I talk about Michigan, there's some crazy shit that went down. So for me just surviving, you know, the small ass city of Grand Rapids, you know, surviving the cold, it's like they call it baby Detroit, and that's not for a good reason. Like, we don't even like that, you know what I'm saying? Like, 'cause we are way poorer than Detroit. We got no money, but the white people got money, so we from Michigan.
Okay, so Grand Rapids, Michigan, but you also lived in Seattle, right?
Yeah, I lived in Seattle for several years. That's where I started off comedy. I stayed in DuPont, Washington first, by the military base. Then I moved over to Auburn, Washington, where it's heroin addict base. And then I got a chance to go ahead and move to Tacoma. It was crackhead base. Shout out to my pops. He stayed out there in Everett, Washington. A lot of junkies out there too. Washington was the biggest change to ever have in transition and moving.
And then Atlanta. I want to know, what made you make the move to Atlanta?
I stayed in several different states, bro. I stayed in North Carolina, I stayed in Virginia, I stayed in Florida. Atlanta is just one of the things to do. I feel like I'm big meat to comedy. Like, I'm going state to state, just giving people these laughs. Atlanta is a second home for real. A lot of people at East Point, got a lot of people on the West Side. Yeah, man, I love Atlanta. Atlanta's done a lot for my career, for the people I've been around. And the first chick I ever to go ahead and stay in her house was from the West Side. She used to work at Checkers at the airport. I don't know if they still got that Checkers at the airport, but salute to her. You know, shout out to you.
Comedy, you said you started in Washington. So in Michigan, I guess, what made you not start comedy in Michigan is my question. Or what made you even start comedy? What brought that interest?
In Michigan, I was rapping. Like, I did battle rap. Like, you know, you say you used to direct, you know, for battle leagues. I was doing rapping at the time. I was battling. I really wanted to be a rapper. I didn't think about comedy, but shout out to Dave Jones and Brandon Quashad. They was doing comedy at the time. So when I got a chance to do it, I was in Washington. The open mic host, Manny Martin, at the time, he was like, man, it's your first time? I said, yeah. He was like, come back. And that same week he told me to come back. He was on Kevin Hart's Heart of the City, and I'm working for FedEx at the time. I'm just getting off work, and I just see the dude that told me to do something on TV. So it's like, I don't know, you know, if God was screaming or yelling, but I heard him, you know.
So you said that you worked at FedEx.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of artists, comedians, musicians, everything, anybody that does art stuff, we all, a lot of times we work jobs. With your job history, is any job where you were like, this is horrible, or is there any job that you could speak about where you're like, dang, that was a blessing somehow that helped you get to where you are today? Or it doesn't got to be a specific job, but you could say the industry and say.
I would say that the FedEx one was the biggest one. Shout out to FedEx, though. It helped out a lot of people. But they shitted on me a whole bunch of times. Because I was third-party FedEx, means that we didn't get insurance. So I could have died anytime. Like, at any point of the day, like, something could have happened. They would have cared more about them boxes than me. That's just pretty much what it was. And when I was doing comedy and doing FedEx at the same time, it was make or break. I had a chance to open up for Bill Bellamy. And the night before, he wanted me to open up for him. I was drinking all night, stuff like that. Like, we was partying, and I had to go to work the next day. And I tried to go ahead and tell my boss, I'm like, hey, man, I got a chance to go and open up for Bill Bellamy. I ain't gonna be able to do it. He was like, man, you better move them damn boxes. I'm like, hey, bro, like, don't talk to me like that. He gave me extra $100 on top of my check. And at that point, it was like, man, it's make or break. I got bills to pay. And I'm opening up for Bill. My manager name was Bill. It was too many bills, right? So I'm like, okay, I'm finna go ahead and knock this out. So a couple of my people helped me with my shift. But at the same time, I came late, almost like this close to the show. And I came in my FedEx uniform. And Bill said, hey, man, you just getting off work, ain't you? I was like, yeah. He was like, yeah, man, go ahead, perform. Perform with the uniform on, though. And I performed with that uniform on. People laughed for like 3 minutes. And then for the 4th minute, they realized, oh, this nigga really worked for FedEx. This nigga don't really need to be on stage. I bombed horribly, sweating. And I went off stage, went to the back, the green room. Bill got the camera up, got me on Snapchat. This nigga laughing. I'm like, hey man, was all this a setup, like to make me like look crazy right now? I was like, you know. But he was basically like, man, you know, I've been in that predicament before, nigga. You just gotta realize, do you want this or that? You want a 9-to-5 life, or you wanna chase your dreams? If anybody, you should have took the day off and focused on what the fuck you was gonna say up here and try to go ahead and negotiate myself out the deal. I was like, hey man, you know, I got an extra $100. I was doing this for free. He was like, $100. I showed him the check. He was like, man, look, man, you talk to me. We put a couple more zeros behind that 100. And that's what I just did for this weekend. And since then, you know, I've been on it.
That's good that you said that, because one of my questions is also about bombing. I was going to ask you if you ever bombed before. But can you talk about, I know you just talked about the time that you bombed, but can you talk about bombing in the sense of really whatever you want to say about it, whatever comes to mind when you think of bombing. But then number 2, whatever you'd want to tell to comedians that are coming up in regards to bombing.
Bombing is it's essential. It lets you know that whatever you thought was funny isn't funny yet. The crowd isn't going to respond to something that isn't mastered or connecting to them. So I've had jokes that bombed, that killed in other rooms, and I had jokes that killed in other rooms, bombed in other rooms. So if you know how to say what you're trying to say in a way that everybody can relate to it, your joke will never bomb. But if it's some unrelatable shit that we can't connect to and don't want to comprehend with, then, you know, you might as well go ahead and cut that shit out. It was a joke I had about Nelly, because Nelly had came to Washington and they tried to go ahead and put a case on Nelly on some weirdo shit. I was like, it's that motherfuckers always want to put a case against motherfucking black celebrities. And I'm looking at the mother, I'm like, it was a white woman in the audience, she got uncomfortable. I'm looking, it's always a white woman. And she had got up and she had walked out and shit like that. And I realized, like, oh, I really attacked that white woman. But 9 times out of 10, it's usually a white woman. But if I would have said it in a proper way to make everybody laugh and make it relatable and make it connectable, she wouldn't have walked out. You know, I might have lost a fan just off of the way I said some shit. So it's not about what you say, it's how you say it.
When you talk about relatability, I know there's some things with comedy where there's some key things that I hear people talk about when it comes to comedy, and they'll say relatability, kind of like what you said, like people understanding the joke, and then also like Tony Hinchcliffe. I watch his stuff, his podcast, Kill Tony, and he'll talk about, do people like you, you know, when you go on stage. So can you talk a little bit about what have you learned or noticed that makes things funny? Or is there certain things that make stuff funny? The
connection. Being relatable is cool. Being relatable is surface. When I noticed the first things about comedy is your mom, everybody mom does this, or does your mom do this? You're trying to be relatable. You're trying to speak about, you know, things that could be hack or cookie cutter or generalizing. When you focus more on connection, is a little bit better than being relatable. Trying to connect to you. Like, if you don't know where I'm coming from, you're not gonna get it. So if I'm on stage and I have, oh, Atlanta's like this, Atlanta's like that, and I know for a fact what I'm saying is the truth and people are paying attention, it's just like what Cat Williams does when he goes to each city and he talks about each city beforehand. It's connecting to the people in the city. It's like when you talk about the traffic, the traffic, how the hell is the traffic and everybody drives so fast? And then it's like when you talk about the people, the people it's so slow, but y'all try to scam everybody. We talk about the chicken wings, like damn chicken wings cost more than pussy. It's like you connect to the people It's like, oh, he gets it because I get it, and we're here now, right? So beyond relatable, that's the biggest thing.
Let's talk about some of your greatest dislikes. Like, so I did a lot of different things. One of them was DJing, and one thing that made me a good DJ is I went to the club a lot. So I would see what other DJs did, like playing songs for 1 minute, or 30 seconds, and it's like, oh, I like that song, then it cuts off. Or just playing stuff that doesn't fit the vibe. And then I was like, I'm not gonna do that when I DJ. So when I DJed, it made me a better DJ. So are there things that you've seen in the comedy scene that you don't like? And then also, you can talk a little bit about the event planning stuff, how you incorporate that into your event planning, or just stuff that you notice where you're like, I don't like this and people should stop doing this type thing.
I don't necessarily like when people take too much time on stage. It's like, get up out of there, especially with the host, like becoming a host for comedy. It's like when the room is ready to see another comedian, you feel like yourself being hot on that stage. It doesn't allow you to give yourself an extra 15 minutes of stage time because it's hot. It's like, no, you give the next performer that energy. And you see that a lot of host liners, a lot of dudes that just go ahead and stay up on stage, and then 30 minutes later, all right, let's get to our first comedian. That's something I was like, no, I'm never going to do that. I'm going to go ahead and do 10 to 15 minutes flat. Sometimes, if that, I just like to go ahead and get straight to the comedians and go ahead and try to run a tight show. You're dealing with people that are just getting off of work at 8:30. They don't really want to go ahead and wait too long, especially if they're just getting to a comedy show. We late. So if show could say doors open at 9 and we don't get there till 10:30 type shit. So I starting my show like right on time to train my audience, to let them know that we're not gonna be late. So if you is just getting off of work, wash your ass, get straight to the goddamn comedy show. Put some lotion on first, but get right. So we're training our audience to go ahead and do and be better when it comes down to these comedy shows. And I'm just making sure that every artist that I mess with is messing with me and my movement. I tell you right now, if I'm booking you don't book me for a show, you ass out. That's the last time I'm booking your ass. So I'm just letting you know it's a reciprocal thing over here at Love Grooves. You feel me? That's something I noticed. Like, people will go ahead and keep on booking these artists, and they don't mess with these artists on their off time, but these artists don't mess with them. It's like, no, it's a family over here. You want to see me win, I want to see you win.
And that even goes into the rap scene, because I know a lot of that too from doing shows and everything. So I wanted to talk about, I remember my question from earlier. So you were talking about the lady and how you can make her more, make her stay by doing it in a certain way. So I kind of get that aspect as far as considering who's in the room. But I also wanted to see, what's your opinion with freedom of speech and being able to be your authentic self, to where, let's say your opinion is valid. A lot of times it's white women that are calling the cops, whatever. So can you talk a little bit about the balance between freedom of speech, people having the cancel culture right now with comedians saying certain things, and being authentic on stage? I know it's like 3 different parts, but...
Yeah, that's a lot of shit. That was a lot of shit. When it comes down to freedom of speech, when it comes down to really telling it like it is, you can get banned and you can get canceled for doing exactly that, especially if you don't have a platform like a Club Shay Shay to be on, to go ahead and say your opinions. I've been banned and canceled several times. Been banned to perform at Northwest Black Comedy Festival because I said that Charlize Theron shouldn't adopt little black boys and turn them into gay slave babies. I've been blocked and banned for saying the word retard. I was in school with people that would consider me and the other people that were around retarded. I've been banned for having consensual sex with women. You feel what I'm saying? Like, it's wild as shit in this fucking comedy game. You can't really do too much. Gotta always walk on eggshells. You can't trust shit. You gotta keep your head on the swivel. Can't really say too much. You feel what I'm saying? I want to say the absolute honest truth to you, but I gotta look around first. It's wild in this comedy game. But for the people that really don't give a fuck like me, who cares if you try to abolish me or take away my words? everything is going to be brought to the light. All the truth is going to be brought to the light, and the people of pure heart will be acknowledged, and the people that were trying to stop their truth will be abolished.
So I wanted to see, so yeah, that's good. As far as freedom of speech and authenticity, I wanted to see, so if you could, I know you say you've opened up for some people, probably headline and stuff too, but if you could have like a dream comedy show, if you have a dream comedy show with, what's the average you say, like how many comedians on a show?
I say four to five.
So let's say that way you could be the fifth. So can you choose 4 other comedians, dead or alive, that you would love to have on a comedy show with you?
I'm gonna start off with Bernie Mac, Richard Pryor, Patrice O'Neal, and Red Fox. I believe that would be the hardest comedy show in the history of all comedy shows. And for me to even open up on that would be like a fairy tale dream, you know? Patrice was one of the last people to just say what he felt. Bernie Mac, a testament of his time. Red Fox, the originator of everything, of the witty comeback, the sarcasm, the old man point of view in comedy, all came from him. And then Richard, the most transparent of them all. Yeah, man, that would be a cold little joint. But realistically, I'll deal with Shucky Ducky for Bruce, Cool Bubba Ice, and Steve Brown. Put Steve Brown on there.
Okay, I got a few more questions about kind of the things similar to that. Damn, I just lost it. It was comedy and probably Nat named Fruit Flies. Just like to harass people.
Yeah, it's wild. Yeah, this crack house is wild. Man. Got flies and crack. The flies smoking crack. It's wild over here, man. Get up out of here, man. It's wild. Got a whole weed bush over here. They growing weed over here. I don't know why the feds ain't kicked in the door over here, man. It's wild.
With the comedy, well, I want to know about roasting. So what is your opinion and your viewpoint on crowd work when people are just, kind of, let's say crowd work first, and then, yeah, if I see that.
I had that hoe too.
Yeah, what's your opinion on crowd work and like negative crowd work?
Negative crowd work.
As far as like roasting somebody in the crowd, like Nate
Jackson.
Yeah, like that.
I mean, if you like to roast people, shit, if that's your thing, I feel bad for people that gotta use that as a crutch. If that's your thing, there's a lot of people that get off on just going at the crowd instead of just having jokes. Like the crowd is their joke, but sometimes you chase away people from coming to your shows because now they feel like they are your show. And I'm not necessarily a person that likes to pick on the crowd. I don't normally roast unless it's something that people, it's like an elephant in the room type of vibe. Like if it's 2 white people in the room, it's like, okay, who invited, and then I'll fuck them up. I'll be like, who invited this motherfucker over here? I'll point away from the white people, and then I'll ask the white people, who invited them? So you gotta be able to, don't do the normal, don't punch down, don't do the cliche. I feel like it's hacky to be able to just do that on every show and feel like you're doing good in comedy when you haven't told a joke yet about you.
And do you have any advice for up and coming comedians?
Quit. My main advice for up and coming comedians: quit now. Get out of there. You don't want this life. It's long, long, long nights of nothing, sitting, waiting. You really want this life? You want this life? You want it? Then what I'm saying to you shouldn't even matter. You feel me? Don't take nobody advice. Do whatever the fuck you want to do. As long as you ain't talking about killing or raping nobody, or fuck with nobody kids, fuck with nobody grandparents or parents. You know, just do this shit honorably. If you can, do it honorably. Ain't no honor amongst thieves. But make sure that you ain't stealing jokes. And make sure that you write your own life. Don't try to compare your success to anybody else's. Other than that, quit.
One last thing, the comedy scene. So I want to see, can you talk about your first time even going up to do comedy, to do stand-up, how you felt, what that experience was like? I know you already been on stage or been in front of people because you did music, but what about doing comedy, your first time doing it? What did that feel like for you?
So my first time performing, like rapping, I did the BET Black College Tour at Jackson State University, and I was in front of 5,000 people. 5,000 of our people. You feel what I'm saying? First time I did comedy, it was a room of 3 people, 3 to 4 people. Half of them white. And the only black people in there was me, Manny Martin, Harlem Blue. Manny Martin was the host. And I went up there, I did an R. Kelly joke, I did my grandmama joke, and this white dude laughed so hard in the back. It was like I knew I was gonna make money for the rest of my life kind of laugh. Oh wow, it was kind of. So I was freestyling, plus I was drunk. It was after my birthday, and I felt good after I got off stage. And when I got off stage, it was like, okay, I can keep doing this. And then I instantly, me, Manny Martin, and Harlem Blue, we had a whole like background conversation about comedy after that night. So it kind of, my first time, I was kind of inducted like a what would you say, like draft day, you know? Like I was like yeah, you gonna be the next, yeah. So, you know.
What do you say about the scene that you've been to different places, but what would you say about the comedy scene, you know, in different places? But then what would you say about the comedy scene? Maybe you can compare and contrast and just talk about moving to Atlanta and your experience with the comedy scene here. Does that make sense?
The difference between the comedy scenes is really no difference. You got your cliques, you got your people that you like, you got your people that you don't like. It's important to learn how to maneuver by yourself in comedy. If you don't learn how to, first off, know yourself, know yourself, know what you are comfortable around, know who you're comfortable around, know what you're able to deal with. You set your own boundaries real fast. Because a lot of people in comedy are very wicked. There's a lot of people that are, a lot of devil worshiping motherfuckers in comedy. It's in every place. It's devil worshiping motherfuckers that work at Coca-Cola. So whatever company you work in, and they got cliques of motherfuckers that are doing wild shit. So you just stay away from it, you know, and stay away from other motherfuckers that could possibly be a bad influence on your life. That's it.
All right. So now we wanted to kind of get into opinions and stuff like that. So we talked about the roasting, and that made me think about David Lucas. Did you hear about that with the George Floyd? Yeah. What were your thoughts? It could be just whatever you really want to say about it. There's no specific prompt, just that situation.
When I saw the David Lucas thing, I was like, it's the clout thing to do. When you're doing things for clickbait, is clickbait humor. Clickbait humor is CBH. I know that it doesn't have any like weight. It doesn't have any like value. It's not really helping comedy to talk about that situation in the light that he did. But we're talking about it. So now the conversation of George Floyd continues. Maybe it needed to, maybe it didn't need to, maybe we need to value that man and don't shit on his legacy. Or maybe we need to check more into who he was or how investigate to why would an officer do this. I was just over in Seattle, Washington, And it was 4 or 5 police officers on one black man in front of the airport. And because he was homeless, he was trying to go ahead and sleep over there. And he's known for pickpocketing and robbing motherfuckers. But there was about 4 of them on him. And one of them had his kneecap to his neck. And I was the only person to say, get your fucking kneecap off of his neck. This just happened. So after the police officer heard me, he took his knee off his neck because I had my phone out. I wasn't recording him because I don't fucking record shit. But he thought that my phone was on, right? I was talking to a female about the comedy show that we were going to go ahead and do for June. And I made her stay on the phone. And I'm looking at this. And the officer takes the kneecap off of him. And I say, hey, can y'all go ahead and back up and just let him go and get some air? And then that black man looked at me and said, nigga, get your punk ass the fuck up out of here. Nigga, what the fuck is you doing? Nigga, I don't give a fuck about these punk ass crackers. Fuck all these motherfucking crackers' wives. Fuck all they wives in the ass. I was like, all right, well, fuck, So, but at the same time, I would never in my world say, oh, that nigga needs to die. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, it's clickbait humor, fucking clickbait.
All right. Will Smith, Chris Rock. I know that's a little bit far back there, but the Will Smith, Chris Rock thing happened. Can you just talk a little bit about like your opinion on it? And then second thing, put yourself in each of their shoes.
All right, so I don't never want to put myself in Chris Rock's shoes at all.
I guess from the standpoint of
I don't give a fuck how comfortable the shoes are.
Let's say that you were the host and you made a simple joke. Maybe you make a similar joke or something like that, just about Jada Pinkett, and then you see Will Smith walking up to the stage. So that type of thing.
Okay, if I was Chris Rock in that situation, I would automatically, for comedic purposes, I'm gonna back away. I'm gonna act like I'm running, or I'm gonna act like I'm finna fight, because at this point, this man is walking up on stage. It's not prompt. It's not in the teleprompter. This isn't rehearsed. It's not acted out. We didn't rehearse this. You didn't call me. You didn't text me. I don't know what's about to happen. So for me, not knowing what's about to happen, my first reaction is to, but I'm not far removed from the street. You know what I'm saying? Anything can happen at any point in time. You don't know who's playing with you, who's not playing with you. You got to go ahead and take certain things into consideration. It's like, oh, this person really want to do something, or this person just talking so they can, and you can know who's who. All I know is, if Will Smith would have walked up, I'd be like, hey man, I know where you live now. Hey, I know where you live, bro. Don't do this. Cause I can just pull up. The August side or Jada side, whichever, I could just pull up, But I feel like since he is so far removed, he felt comfortable enough to stand right there and wait for that slap. And if I was Will Smith in that situation, I'm not gonna mess up my money. And I don't care about a female for real, because females will have you looking like Will Smith. Not to say that's a bad thing. He's multi-billion dollar box office. It's a great thing to be. But in Black Twitter world, nah, it's the worst thing to be is a Will Smith. Don't Will Smith yourself is probably a hashtag right now. So all I'm saying is, man, don't simp yourself out and don't get slapped, pretty much on both sides. And don't allow people to go ahead and know your business. Though, if you ain't want your girl to go to the Oscars bald-headed, put a hat on the bitch.
Michael Jordan. What is that? Holy shit. What kind of goodness is that?
There was a thing with Corey Holcomb and begins with an R. What's his name? Not Davis. Smokey. What's the dude's name from Chappelle?
Donnell Rawlings.
Donnell Rawlings. Yeah. So there's a thing with. Did you see that with Corey Holcomb was up on stage. Donnell Rawlings just went off. Yeah, he said, yeah, he's mild or whatever. And then he got upset and was yelling. So it's two things that happened. One of them, the guy's giving a public opinion about him that could be messing up Rawlins' money. Rawlins, he's also yelling, which might be, you know, a rule. You know, you don't want to be interrupting another comedian. You know, have respect for the other comedians. Yeah. So what's just your take on that whole thing? And then you could also do the same thing. What if you were?
I personally know people in Donnell Rawlings camp. I personally know people over there at Corey's camp. So I'm kind of neutral on both sides of it all. But Corey ruffled a lot of feathers. Corey does ruffle a lot of feathers. As soon as I did my first show over at Uptown Comedy Corner, the nigga did a whole attack on Uptown Comedy Corner. Like the week of, I announced that I was going to do a show over there. It was like, God damn, nigga, can I sell some tickets first? Shit, like everything that this nigga be doing. He attacks motherfuckers. And Donnell felt like he was on the verge of being attacked. And a motherfucker feel like, you know, Donnell, you smoke weed, nigga, he might smoke cigarettes sometimes. So nigga might feel a little bit paranoid, like, fuck it, nigga, I'm gonna go ahead and bomb first, nigga, bop, bop, bop. And then nigga, Corey said nigga was mild, and nigga said, I am not mild. And nigga put the motherfucking Netflix shit out. And on top of that, it was motherfucking promo for the Netflix. Nigga was like #1, you know, so either way it go, it was good money on both sides. I feel like it was the Kendrick Lamar Drake before the Kendrick Lamar Drake, you feel what I'm saying? So when it come down to it, I seen the Donnell live over at Trap City Cafe, the nigga wasn't mild. You feel what I'm saying? Like I walked up to him, I told him the nigga wasn't mild. You know, I seen a nigga over at motherfucking Atlanta Comedy Theater, literally, a couple months before that, he did little bits of the Netflix special. And he was doing freestyle shit. He wasn't mild then. He had motherfuckers. But fuck that nigga though, for real though. Because I had a show right after, and the nigga basically, he went over 40 minutes. I'm Club Shay Shay myself right now. Fuck that shit, nigga. Fuck you, Donnell, everybody at Donnell land. Yeah, King. The nigga went over 40 minutes, drawed out the motherfucking audience. I couldn't have no motherfucking audience left. Nigga, I felt mild. You feel what I'm saying? Nigga, walked out my whole motherfucking audience. I was gonna have for the motherfucking 12 o'clock show. Cause your ass over here doing extra goddamn time. Don't let a nigga breathe. Don't let me go ahead and even get no chance to go and eat no chicken wing. All right, fuck it. I'm beefing with everybody that do over 40 minutes of motherfucking time. Donnell Rawlings is one of them, nigga. Cause you and your motherfucking crew of niggas that's habitual motherfucking time steppers, nigga.
Not to burn any bridges or anything like that with the Uptown Comedy Theater, but I think what you were referring to was Corey was saying that they recorded sets and they were putting them out there.
Yeah.
So I just want to see, just in general, what's your opinion about two things? You brought it up earlier. You said the click. What was it like? Social media, humor, and then also just people recording sets and putting them out there or recording them with their phones. So can you talk about social media comedians, just whatever comes to mind with that, and then also people recording with phones or clubs recording with phones and putting out that media?
Sorry, the middle of my hand was ashy. I had to get a little bit of, you ever had to lick your finger, get the little middle of the hand part? The middle of the finger was ashy. That's what mothers be saying when they trying to show off their rings and stuff. Like, yeah, man, let me go ahead and see what the thing, man, my hair on my left knuckle got a little bit. But anyway, well, the situation with Uptown, I think that was kind of blown over proportion. I don't even think that if that was a situation that Corey felt strongly on, he should have contacted the owner over there and they should have had a discussion. I feel like once you blow up any black business in a bad light without going straight to that black business first, it's an overkill. And I feel like we do that too much with each other already. That's first off. Second off, I don't like anybody recording my material and not giving me a copy of it or not giving me an opportunity, an option to get a copy of it for my own purposes. I feel like if I'm going state to state or club to club with this material, I wouldn't want anybody to go ahead and buy it without my knowledge. And a lot of these people don't necessarily benefit or monetize off of their own material. They work very hard for it. And that's a very disheartening thing for comedians because you can look at the Cat Williams tour right now on YouTube right now without having to go to the show. You can look at the Mike Epps tour without having to go to the show. You can look at the Lil Duval show without having to go to the show. You can look it up on YouTube. So it's kind of like at the point where Napster You remember Napster like was still all the music. It's getting to that point for comedians now. Like people could just get your material and your sets without you knowing, and it could just be spread out to the world. And that's not cool because we really work hard. So I don't like it. You know, I tell people all the time in my shows, don't record the whole show. If you want to get a bit and clip for Snapchat or Instagram, make sure it's 30 seconds or less. Or unless the artist asks you to record them, you know. Other than that, no, you know, it's not cool.
BBL Drizzy. BBL Drizzy. So AI music is coming out where they could just type in something, make an old 70s song and say this. Same thing, I've also heard, I watch a lot of different comedian stuff, but it seems like it's always white people that are putting out, I guess, educational stuff about comedy. I haven't seen too many black ones, so I got a lot of white comedians in reference. But they're talking about Mark Norman, I think is his name, and they were able to write a joke using AI or ChatGPT in Mark Norman's style.
Yep.
So they could probably do that with Pryor or Bill Cosby or whatever, say, write it in this style. So what is your opinion with or do you have any opinion or thoughts about AI in comedy?
I was the first person to tell people to watch out for AI in comedy. I was one of the first people to warn people about it. When ChatGPT came out, one of my people said, I bet you it can't do this. Write me a Dave Chappelle tight 5 minutes of comedy. And it did it. And I said, yep, it's over. It's pretty much done. All of it is done. Once somebody can sense, it's not sensing your thoughts, but it's sensing your aura. It's saying that we sense your thought patterns. We know how you work. And that's scary because even females don't know how we work. You feel what I'm saying? Like the computer can figure it out faster than the female. That's wild. Like a female can never really understand how a man works or thinks. And a man never is supposed to go and understand how a woman or a female. So you tell me a computer can figure that out faster? Then this is scary, man. Y'all don't get it. Y'all understand? It's all right. When Terminator come, he gonna come.
So Will Smith and Martin are coming back out with the Bad Boys. Can you speak on just your opinion on that? You can speak on some of these comedians getting a little bit older and newer generations coming and how that's kind of looking.
I feel like I like to see it because it lets me know that I can get older in it. I like to see comedians get older. It lets me know that I can hopefully one day be in that position. To see Martin be in a multi-million-dollar franchise such as Bad Boys and him looking like he just ate a whole bag of chitlins is dope to me, you know. Like Martin is over 50, still chasing down Colombian drug dealers. Like who would think? Who would have thought that the nigga that was working at WZUP would still be like one of the top ranking comedians out here in the country. And I want to see Martin run. I love Bad Boys. I want to see him run, even though he don't be running. Like he be kind of like hobbling. He be That should be so there. Hey man, next time y'all watch Bad Boys, somebody make a super cut of how Martin used to run in the 90s. Bad Boys to the 2000 Bad Boys to the now Bad Boys. It's so fucking. It's fucking. If somebody please do that for me for my birthday. Birthday is July 17th. I appreciate Martin for still working with Will Smith after the fact that Will Smith slapped the shot at Chris Rock, because I definitely wouldn't work with you.
We just talked about the whole Chris Rock thing, and you said him messing up his money, but I think as his character, you know Mike Lowry, he was supposed to be a bad boy. You get what I'm saying? So him slapping him, do you think that's going to get him to be more believable in that role? You know what I'm saying?
You feel like
it'll attract people. It'll be like, oh, he is.
That I don't feel like that. That worked for Tupac. I ain't gonna work for Will Smith. For Will Smith to be getting more bad guy roles because he slapped somebody doesn't mean that he's a bad guy at all. He got a slave role after that. Like he played a slave. He didn't get like a training day. Like ooh, let's get. No, they put that boy in some shackles Put some dirt on his face. If y'all seen that Slave, pull up that Slave movie and watch it. You tell me how bad. Nah, man, you wasn't getting no, bro. That's not gonna get you no harder roles just because Wayne Brady was slapping bitches in the Chappelle show. Don't mean he's finna get no Al Pacino co-starring role, bro. It's not gonna happen, man. Nah, man, he was not Mike Larry, like, nigga. That's Tupac and Bishop. Bishop and Tupac, it's the same person, nigga. You and Mike Larry is two different people. This is no. I'm sorry, Big Willie.
Question came to mind was comedians and relationships. So with comedians and relationships, I just wanted to see if you could talk a little bit about, it could be about actual relationships and being a comedian and whatnot, or it could be about meeting women, because I've heard that aspect. I watched like Godfrey's podcast. They used to talk about how Asian Andre, that was what his name he went by, he would talk about how he'd go on stage and women would really like him, mainly because he had like a power type thing. You know, he's controlling the audience. He seems really confident. He's making people laugh. So can you just talk about that aspect?
Chuckle, what I believe that you're trying to inquire about is the chuckle fuckers. Yes, there are a lot of chuckle fuckers in comedy. There's a lot of women that want to laugh and have sex. There's a lot of them. Jokosexuals. Yeah, there's a lot of groupies in comedy. I've seen them. I've experienced them. It's getting scary because now the groupies actually want to be on stage. They just suck so many funny dicks. They feel like they could spit something funny out, you know. And shout out to them, man, you know, because maybe it is their dream to fuck funny people and be funny themselves. It's not in anybody's best favor to have sex with groupies, especially if you're trying to get them to come back to your show. You want them to keep coming back to your show. You don't want them to feel like they have access to you like that. Unless they sign an NDA or a waiver or something. You know? Ain't nothing wrong with a little bit of waiver pussy. I'll wave at some waiver pussy.
So Kendrick versus Drake, that whole thing that was going on, just give me like an opinion or what your thoughts are about that.
The light skin versus dark skin battle of the ages, Kendrick versus Drake, was like, you watch House Party, the original House Party with Kid and Play? It was like that. It was like that, the House Party battle, but like in reverse. Like the dark skin finally won. I feel like it was well deserved, man. Kendrick Nino Brown, that man, he stuck his knife right in the middle of his microphone. He said, I don't like you pretty niggas anyway, and you got fake abs. And the fact that he had fake abs, nobody really knew that he had fake abs. And then they said the V12 is a fast one, and you learn what a V12 is, and he's sucking the fat out, and nigga got braids, and he a pedophile, and it was like, damn, I didn't need to know all that. But I feel like we don't need to battle rap no more. I don't feel like nobody needs to rap no more because I feel like somebody gonna go above and beyond. Like soon as after the Drake and Kendrick battle, somebody starts shooting at Drake house. That's really unfair. That's unfortunate. I could have sworn that both of them niggas were positive rappers. I could have sworn that both of these niggas was positive. Could have sworn that both of them preach positivity. One talks about like his ex-girlfriends, the other one talks about black empowerment, but both of them are talking about good things. To have somebody house get shot the fuck up for you talking about you wanting to fuck your ex-bitch or Rihanna and the ex-bitch is insane. And I feel like we don't need to battle rap no more if it's getting to that point. If the nigga's a pedophile, let his day in court come. If Kendrick beating his wife, then shit, let him keep beating his goddamn wife. They still together. So I don't need to know who kid is who. I don't want to know none of that. I want to know who's the better rapper. And if rap is going to keep on going to this level of me not knowing who's the better rapper, just who can be the messiest, I don't want to hear no more shit. You know? But Tupac was the messiest nigga by saying he fucked Big Wife, though.
Donald Trump, he just got
34.
felonies.
34. A big 34. Big 34. Donald Trump got 34 charges. 34 charges of being guilty. Donald Trump being charged 34 times is like your girl catch you cheating more than 5. Like, it's like after the third, blatant, the fourth, 5 times, man, you really don't care about this bitch's feelings. Her pussy must be trash. So that's basically what Donald Trump is saying. The American justice system is so trash that he got away with so much shit. They had to charge him 34 times. And I know niggas that have done life for nothing, actually innocent, being at the wrong place, wrong time. This man, 34 counts of everything, right? Everything. What did he do? Everything. It's him and Diddy. Right? So I feel like Diddy and Trump should basically get together and put some velour suits with those shoes. Definitely. Put some velour suits with those shoes and maybe get a cologne. I think a cologne would be very fitting. Shout out to Trump, man. He gave us a stimulus package, but he was giving other people his package too. So I don't know. You want people to be financially stable and crimes be committed, or do you not want that shit? I don't care. I'm not gonna vote.
Okay, and then in this last segment, so I'm gonna say a person's name or a thing or something like that, or a place, and then you just say a sentence or less, preferably like a couple words, whatever comes to mind first. All right, so let's start with Taylor Swift.
White.
Kanye West.
Off-white.
Washington.
Starbucks white.
Atlanta.
So black, but kind of want to be white.
Grand Rapids.
Ghetto than a motherfucker.
Clickbait humor.
Everything.
Red Fox.
Cocaine.
Tommy Davidson.
Same. Great comedian.
The WB, the channel network.
Niggas and frogs.
BET.
It's been so long since I watched. They owe me $100 too.
Now, just some either ors real quick. Sade or Erykah Badu?
Erykah Badu. She got them yams.
Inside or outside?
I like outside, but I like inside, so I'm inside. With availability to go outside. As long as I'm free. Because you can say inside, be locked the fuck up. Nigga, I don't like that. So the availability of outside. Because I could build a house on it from the outside.
Introvert or extrovert?
Intro.
Now pick a season.
Summer.
Last two, it's all gonna be the same question but different amounts. If you were to get $100,000 tomorrow, somebody just gave you $100,000, you could do whatever with it. What would you do with the $100,000?
Paying off all my bills, fines. Give me a passport, go to Tokyo real quick. Make a couple of moves in the black market. Get a couple of kidneys, a couple of livers, maybe a lung or two. Come back over here, keep that on the black market, on the dark web. About at least 30,000 in Oregon. Sell that to a couple of these white politicians that are connected to the Masonic family in some type of facet. Watch my money just triple up and double up.
You were given $2 million next Friday. What would you do?
I'd spend $1 million on cocaine and I would distribute it to every white part of the country that I could and exploit the young white youth to drug usage and I would spend another $1 million and get my mama a house, and I would get an RV.
Okay, and last one, you were given $50 million tomorrow. What would you do?
I would spend $25 million on the children that I'm about to have in Puerto Rico. And I would spend the remainder of that money on all of Snoop Dogg's weed. Buy the seeds from Snoop Dogg's personal grower. And I would get a villa and a minivan, 2010 sedan.
And then I always like to close out with this. I'm going to do it. I do it specific on race. So even if I have a white dude, Hispanic dude, I'm going to say, give one piece of advice for you, it'd be a young black male. It could be, do one piece of advice for a young black male in America, and then one just anywhere in the world.
My one piece of advice to a young black male in America is stay out the way. Stay out the way. Don't get in nobody else's battles. Don't get in nobody else's fights. Don't get in nobody else's bullshit. This is your life. Stay out the way. There's too many young black males getting into everybody else's shit and realizing 40, 50-year-old plus, and they realizing that their life is gone. You was too concerned jumping into this beef or jumping into this bullshit relationship or jumping into this bad situation or jumping into this job or jumping into this. Like, you gotta focus on you. Learn you. Focus on you. You know? And that way, you lead yourself. And when you can lead yourself, then you can lead others. Till then, stay out the fucking way. My advice to the black males in the world is get ready. It's coming. And if you don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, you're already too late in the game. This is Armani Jones. Thank y'all for tuning in, man. You can catch me in these Atlanta comedy streets anytime y'all want to. Pull up on me. Info is right below. Blessings.